Thank you, Shreyas and Nishit. Thanks for the perspective that you try to set from a evolution or transformation which is happening at this point of time. But I'll try to go more into the deeper. So let me share my slides. So today, my discussion will be focused more around what next to RPA. Okay, so the objective of this discussion is not about we are talking about replacement of RPA, but objective is about how you can make a true how we can make use of your RPA as well as your developing a modern application in a very optimized manner, basically. Okay, and and since we all know that after the pandemic, it is all about how software is driving the things, right? It is all about faster time to value and faster time to market. So with that, I will keep my discussion very limited from a RPA and where we can add value, rather than I go into multiple areas, because we talk about modern application development, faster application development. We talk about microservices API creations in a very faster manner. We talk about how you can able to connect from a system of record to create multiple system of experience in a faster time and all. So there's a lot of themes that are there from a customer experience, from an employee experience. So I'm not talking about that. My objective of the discussion is today purely focusing on a GIC, GCC or GIC space, and where we can look at how we can enable more into the RPA, how we can drive more value from the RPA part. Okay, which is presently is a big gap actually. Okay, so I know this slide might be gives a different perspective, right? In the middle of the road, there is a band-aid, right? Now what we are trying to do in some of our RPA engagement is not a deep level of transmission, because we are trying to fix the problem at the band-aid level, at the surface automation level, but not at the root level, because there is a lack of technology to do that transformation, because that transformation at the root level or at the system of record level takes a huge amount of time, energy, money. And it evolved from 2016 onwards that, hey, RPA is a good thing, at least I don't need to touch my code, I don't need to touch my backend. Let's look at some tool who gives some automation. At the same time, it gives some from optimum performance point of view, and which helps to reduce people, basically, right? So now, over the period of last couple of years, it has now come to a stage where organizations are now seeing the potential of RPA, and they have realized that how good is RPA, or how I would not say the word called bad, how what is the improvement that they would require because of the changes that they need to go through. So what is happening at this point of time? So when you look at your enterprise application, which is your system of record, and and when you typically look at any underlying change in your application, which is your system of record anyway, from your sales and distribution application, supply chain application, you would normally need any changes 6 to 18 months. Okay, and that takes its own time. And then in parallel to that, you put the bot. But bot is something, when you put the bot and when you do any change in your system of record, you also need to do a lot of I would not say configuration, I would say scripting and coding in a very huge manner to make sure the bot understands the required change, what had happened in the system of record level. And that level of scripting and that level of development is the cost is, in one side, the cost of bot, and the other side, the cost of services can be a 3 to 4 times more. Okay, so we find this as a typical problem when we are talking to some of our large GIC or GCC customer, and we thought, boss, it is good to have some engagement, and try to drive this message in a right way, where we can able to create a much stronger value for the customers, where we can not we can think about driving much more better system of record transmissions in a much more faster manner, and at the same time it also helps to reduce your bot overload also. And I think that can bring a lot of ROI. But more than ROI, there are a lot of other aspects like customer experiences can make better customer experiences, can make better shareholder value, etc. So I'll talk more about that in my future slide. But this slide is all about the change that you go through, and how much time and how much energy that it takes, and how much cost and all. Okay. So with that, I go to the next slide, and this might be a very highly heavy loaded word, and no objective, no offense to anybody, but because we all are there in this industry for last so many years. I happen to be there for last 22 years in the software space. So when RPA came, good promises have been made that RPA would going to get into the intelligence part, and the intelligence part is the cognitive part. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that the cognitive part is not happened, but when you truly see the cognitive part, it has happened around 20 to 30%. Okay, it has not happened more than that. Means probably 35%, right? So RPA, when I look at things, it is like zero point 0.1 to 2, 2 to 3, and if there is any change which is required in the middle, if any intelligence is required, and that missing cognitive part is literally missing. And I think there is not much development which is happening, how you can drive the intelligence much more better. Okay. So people are trying to look at, okay, how I can integrate with multiple intelligence system to try to do that part. But in very less cases, I have seen that the efficiency is at the highest level. I have not seen that. So even if it is a hard statement to make that the flight has never took off, which is a fact by its own. Okay. Now I go to the next slide, and I look at, okay, when the enterprise adoption happens. So probably in year 2016-17, so people look at from a departmental point of view. Okay, RPA is giving me a great amount of value because I can able to reduce 5 people, 10 people, 20 people, and all. Okay, but when it basically going into a cross-functional or cross-departmental use case, that's where the challenge keeps on coming, because of the non-availability or this thing of the presence of the cognitive abilities, and that's where the transformation is required. And that transformation is not an easy transformation. If you're talking about 4 to 5 years back, any transformation touching the SAP or touching the Oracle, and driving the development on the top, it is a change request by its own, and it is not easy, right? And then we talk about future from how with a combination of RPA and a combination of the new generational tools that we're talking about, your transformation can be much more faster. I'll talk about that in a little bit detail, how it makes sense in my next few slides. I know I can't take a pause because I know this is not a Q&A, and we'll have a Q&A later. But normally Q&As really helps to clear some doubt. But we are in a virtual world, so it's better that we have the Q&A at the end. So if you typically look at from our perspective, and I, even if I am from OutSystem, my objective is basically carry from a solution, basically look at from a solution point of view. Okay, not about talking about the product and all. So normally what happens, then you have again a system of record, okay, which is your core legacy system, okay, which you want to transform, which you don't want to transform, which we don't want to touch, but you want to make use of that particular thing. And OutSystem, the beautiful use case, which is other than the RPA, is we connect to this system of record in very fast and try to drive multiple system of engagement. Because see, when we talk about the term called low code, or it is basically from a citizen development point of view. But tell me, in the GIC or GCC, how many citizens are going to develop an application? How many end users are going to develop? It is all going to be done by the back-end application development team, okay, or the IT team. And because it also needs to look at your enterprise architecture point of view, a lot of other governing part. So what we do better is connect to system of record and create multiple system of experiences, so that, and that system of record connection is, for us, is just from a drag and drop, and that's the most complex part. That's the most complex part where other people fails. Because when we are talking about connecting to SAP, connecting to Oracle, connect to any kind of backend APIs, and any kind of creating multi APIs or microservices, these all things can be possible. And then you connect back with your specific use case from a B2B, B2C, B2E point of view. But that's a different thing. Now I'm coming back from RPA part of it. Okay. So when you look at this system of record, you need to have a continuous automation, and that needs to be in a horizontal point of view, right? Because a platform should able to look at this in a very horizontal manner, in a very automated manner, okay? And then it should able to connect to bot 1, bot 2, bot 3, bot 4, okay? Now, in this process, there is a very high chance, when we look at from a use case to use case, or from industry to industry, there's a very high chance that you can reduce the dependency on your bots. Suppose if you're carrying a 500 bots or 400 bots, trust me, when we do the assessment and when we try to find out, and when we do this level of transformation in a very fast manner, okay, you can reduce the dependency to a certain extent to a bot, because you are from surface automation, you are moving to the root level automation, and you have not moved to the root level automation because the challenge is that because the faster time and all. But here we are talking about very fast transformation part. Okay. Now, above this, whatever the industry and horizontal functions that you belongs to, and whatever that you'd like to do from a multiple use case point of view can be possible. And it is basically built once and driving on multiple form factors. So whatever the change that you're trying to bring from your application point of view, from a system of record, and even from a bot output point of view, you can drive that in a horizontal function in a much more faster manner. And it's a one development. It is a one drag and drop development, and which can publish on multiple form factors. That means it can be for a mobile, it can be for Apple, it can be from Android, it can be from web, it can be from your smart devices and all those things. So your transmission from the root level, from your system of record to a system of engagement, is much more faster. And in between, we need to sit and decide where we do that one-to-one automation through the bots, where you don't want to put the people and all these things. Okay, this can be possible from a horizontal as well as from a vertical function, from a B2C functions point of view, where you are interacting with your customers, your distributors, your regulators, your employee, so on and so forth. So I know it's a bit heavy slide to explain, and I would like whoever would be interested on this in a much more deeper way can get in touch with Zana or us, so that we can really take them through a good examples, and take them through a much more deeper linking to the particular verticals that they belong to. Okay. So just to give because this technology, I would say honestly that it is in an evaluation stage. It is evolving, because RPA started at 2017, 2016. And it carried, and then now people looking at. So we are getting a good traction from 2019 onwards, and or I can say after, during the pandemic part, boss, what else that we can do. And we have seen some very good very good use cases which is coming from multiple companies, and is like one of the largest auto manufacturers of the world came up and said that, hey, I have 1,500 bots. I really don't know how I'm going to manage this entire thing, and I really don't, and I'm paying money for these bots. So can we create a platform where we can provision, deprovision the bots, we can take the request, and then we see the bots performance and all. Okay, so and that has really given around 35% overall cost saving from a bot purchase point of view, okay, for that particular customer. And then we start working on some vertical specific use cases with the same customer, right? So that's one. Second is uh, time spent on some functions using the bot has got reduced by 33%. This is I'm talking about this is talking about a large electric device manufacturing company globally. Okay, and we have connected with the SAP, and some bots were working out over there. We have replaced that because of the transmission that we did in the SAP from integrations point of view, and now they don't have the bots, and it is a root level transmission which has been taken place. We can talk more about in detail in the industry specific once we get a chance to talk about this to a specific customers and all. Okay, so now at the end, what we are trying to change. Okay, our objective is not that we are trying to look at this from our technology, or from look at this to create value at the CIO layer, or a CFO layer. No, it is more about creating how we can help in terms of create a increase in the shareholder value significant. And in one fintech distributor in UK, it has really helped the faster time to value, and market really helped the increase the valuation of a fintech distributor in UK, improve customer experience. So this is a very critical point, and which we have got from one of the customers, where they have witnessed around 274% policy growth and 4x customer growth doing such level of transformation. Because some of the transformations, what we find when we go into that particular customer, has been age old, and the system of record has not been touched for last 17 years. System of record has not been touched, and when we touch that system of record without, because the biggest fear of a customer, boss, if you touch my system of record, something goes wrong, it will be a big problem. So without touching the system of record, we created the entire microservices architecture for the customer. Okay, and develop around 10 modern applications, which has helped to increase on their customer experience point of view, and which has really helped them to get more customers on their platform, which was not the case earlier, basically. Okay, elevated employee experience, because after the pandemic, it is all about how better we can give the employee experience, and we know the fact that a lot of systems which has been made, and which has been made in house, need those kind of capabilities, where they need to make this application remote for the and not only remote, but easy to access with the better UI UX experience, and also about better experience, like Uber kind of experience, right? So how do you bring the employee productivity much more faster? So we have worked with many companies on those lines also. Okay, uh, how do you reduce your operational cost? Because when you look at RPA, buying is one thing, but RPA implementing is another thing, and then RPA scripting and doing all those changes is three times and four times of the cost. And then you are basically changing something on your system of record, which is additional cost. Okay, so if you add this entire thing, I think we can really bring a huge amount of cost efficiency in the entire part, because the platform which I'm talking about from an OutSystem point of view, and I'm not having the architecture slide because I don't want to make this discussion as a OutSystem specific discussion, but you need to have one single platform which takes care of your UI, your UX, your data, your workflow, and then your all the integrations, all the without any charge. And we also have a Forge component where we have around 3,500 integration elements which we can drag and drop. Okay, followed by the entire DevOps process. And normally people do the DevOps from a Jenkinson and other things and all, but the DevOps need to be automated and then it basically for the multiple experiences. The multiple experiences, it's a one form factor can be used for multiple ways. It can be for the mobile, it can be from the web, it can be from your omni-channel automation point of view. It doesn't matter. So this is what I wanted to drive, and thank you.